Hey folks, Jim here, producer of Around the House Show. You're loving the audio tips right now, but here's something new. Our full-length episodes and expert interviews are now on YouTube as video, so you can watch the demos, tool close-ups, and guest interviews, or just hit play and listen like a regular podcast. Just search Around the House Show on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button, and turn on notifications. It's free, and you'll get the best of both worlds, visual how-tos when you want them, audio when you're on the go. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app too. Thanks. And now back to the show.
Get you on the radio, yeah, you got it on the radio. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Around the House with Eric G, where we got to get you back on the radio. This is where you can call in, and I'm here to help you with all your questions at 877-733-1011. Whatever your home improvement project is, that's 877-733-1011. And of course, rule number 1, when someone calls in, we take it. Sam, welcome to Around the House.
Hey, so I'm a contractor here in Portland, and I caught the tail end. You were talking about the stuff you can hang in your ceiling in the basement.
Yep.
That makes it fireproof. And did you say that's also soundproof to some degree?
It is. If you can see it at the home centers, a lot of places have it. It used to be called Roxol, but now they've finally rebranded to what everybody else has been calling it for a long time, as Rock Wool. And
Rock Wool.
I love it, man. And it's easy to use. I was using it in my seminars this last week at the International Builder Show, and you can get a knife. You just cut it with a knife. It's thick, it comes in a bag, and it's not itchy like fiberglass, and it's pre-cut in bats, so you don't have to sit there and staple stuff on. It just fits in between the studs. It is
okay.
Dude, it is amazing to work with, and I love it. And the cool thing is that water hits it, it just sheets right off of it, so it doesn't soak water into it. Water doesn't soak into it if you had a water intrusion or something like that. And then the other thing I liked about it was that they had it sitting there with a torch on it, like a full-on propane torch, and just running for the entire show, and it didn't get hurt at all.
Wow, that's amazing. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny. They did one other thing, too, that was cool with the soundproof. They had put it into, basically made us walk through this little tunnel in their booth, and it was dead silent, like you were in the best recording studio out there, just with it sitting in there. So it is great sound insulation as well.
So does that kind of help with, I know that sound tends to travel through solid surfaces like the wood itself, your joist. Does that kind of help with that as well?
Oh, man, it does. Because it kind of sound deadens. It helps muffle the sound coming through the joist because it's up against them. So it's cutting down on the joist vibration as well. There's more you can do with it, but, I mean, it's a huge step when you put that stuff in there, even if you're putting drywall on both sides or drywall and something on, on the other side like siding. But it really helps. It's a big difference.
Okay, awesome. Hey, thanks so much.
Cool, man. Thanks for calling. Thanks for listening to Around the House. Let's run out to Steve. Welcome to the Around the House.
Hi.
What can I help you with?
Hey, just curious. I just recently bought a generator inverter, and I've been reading that I can hook that directly into my house through a wall outlet versus adding like a new junction box in, and I just kind of want to get your opinion on that.
I've never seen that. Every time I've seen an electrician come in and hook one of those things up, they're hooking it in at the panel, and they're making sure that that's not going back out into the city system, into the power box itself. So typically they're putting that right next to the panel there, and it's going into that box to go from the generator and hook into your system. So what it does is it basically turns off the power from the house, and then that generator takes over. So it keeps those two systems somewhat separate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Kind of what I've just been reading is that I can turn the main breaker off to the house and then just turn on the individual breaker of the wall outlet that I'm plugging into, and then whatever outlets or items are plugged into those, into that system will then work.
Yeah, you could run into some big problems there. I would never try that myself. There might be an electrician out there that says that if I have any electricians out there, if I've never heard of that done that way, to me it seems like that could be super dangerous because I would like to have that other mechanical connection beside that breaker. The last thing I want to do is have somebody come by and kick that breaker on, and then you've got a big mess with your generator as you're back feeding back into that.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too. So, hey, thank you for your advice. I really appreciate it,
No
sir.
problem, Steve. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for listening to Around the House. Yeah, that's, I don't like messing with electricity and reinventing stuff myself. Now, there might be an expert out there that could tell me different, but I'll be honest, I like to do it the way that they recommend, and every time I put in, it's an actual box where you mounts up right next to your breaker, and you can plug your generator right into that, and it helps separate those two systems. You don't end up frying a bunch of stuff because electricity has a great chance of burning things up or killing people. So I don't mess with that. So that's just my thing. 877-733-1011. That's 877-733-1011. So one of the things that I was talking about too when we was doing when I was doing the seminars this week, it was interesting because when you go off to another part of the United States, the building materials are different. And what's fun is I like going down there. Their pressure-treated wood is a different species. It's pressure-treated differently. Many of the things, the materials that they're using down there, you've got pines where we have cedars, and it's really interesting because everything is different. And then as a West Coast guy, I'm sitting there doing things like a West Coast guy does, and now I'm building something side by side with a couple East Coast guys. They have different terms. They have different ways of marking things out. It gets kind of interesting. It's almost like a different construction language or dialect when you get into there. They're using proper words, but they're using words that we don't use here. And so it's a lot of fun to kind of mess with that a little bit and expand your boundaries. They were marking out studs completely differently when we were building walls. I'm like, well, man, what are you doing? Oh, like that? Oh, all right, cool. So it was interesting. There was just a lot of little things like that I've worked side by side with a lot of remodelers and a lot of builders, a lot of framers, those kind of things. And it was just really kind of fascinating to see somebody new saying, I'm not going to say it's wrong. It's just whatever the people learned in that part of the country, that's how they do it. And so that was kind of fascinating because, that's the one thing with decks, for instance. You could put 20 deck builders on there and 20 guys are going to build things completely different. And that gets kind of fun watching that. So I learned a lot, even though I was doing a lot of teaching. I learned a lot just how it was going from another part of the country. And the fun part, too, was just looking at different materials, how, things are just so set up differently. It's a lot of fun. Hey, we've got a caller here with maybe some help into this question we had going. Robbie, welcome to Around the House, man.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, speaking about that caller that called in, it's highly illegal for him to wire in his generator the way that he wanted to.
That's what I thought.
I'm a licensed electrician, and the electrical code requires that when you have a generator feeding into your fuse panel,
yep,
you have to have a mechanical disconnect to the outside power grid.
Correct.
So that any time that you will turn power on to the generator to the fuse box, it will disconnect the power to the power grid, and that's to protect the lives of the people working on the power lines and the power outage.
Correct.
So they don't have people backfeeding power down the lines. So he could get in a lot of trouble doing it that way and possibly look at jail time.
Awesome. Well, Robbie, thanks so much, because that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, man, there's a lot of things that could go sideways going that way. I'd never actually heard of anybody trying that before. So,
yeah, absolutely. All right.
Hey,
well,
cool.
Time.
Thanks for calling in, man. And this is why we have some of the most smartest people in the world of a listening audience here. And we appreciate when the experts call in like that, and make sure to line it up. When we come back, we'll be taking all your calls at 877-733-1011 just as soon as Around the House returns.
Going to a show, stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll, getting loud, getting stoned, getting beaten.
Welcome
Welcome back to Around the House with Eric G. We've been talking home improvement, and we've had some interesting calls today, which I love. I love it when we get the experts calling in. I want you to call in 877-733-1011. That's 877-733-1011. Because I'm here to help you through that home improvement project. And I've got a call here. Let's run out to Jack in Battleground. Welcome to Around the House.
Well, hello there. On the fire safing product in the commercial application and high rises, they use it between floor slabs with a Z-clip, and also in elevator shafts. And at our home, when we did our remodel, between floors, we used it, and 5/8 Type X drywall at the time in 2002. Now, the drywall products obviously have changed quite a bit, but it did. Our insurance agent was able to get us a smaller break for using it as a fire product as well as a sound product. So that's a plus as well.
Jack, that is a great tip out there, because if you can prove that you put that in the remodel and save yourself on some insurance, that's always a great one. That's, putting money back in your pocket. I was talking to a guy that was, actually he's the CEO of Roxel, and I was talking to him at the show, and he said, yeah, they had a house, I think it was in Toronto, that was a 3-story house, and the fire, it took off, and they had put it on the upper floor when they did the remodel on it, and they just kind of waited for this thing to burn out because they thought it was dangerous to go in. It wouldn't, because the top floor, it burned up to the first and second floors, but the top floor, it didn't go any further because they had put it up there, and so they actually sent the fire department back in, and it saved the historic building. And so that stuff works so well, and if you can spend a little bit more and get some savings out of it from insurance, that's a win-win.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, and good luck to everybody on their remodels.
All right. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate you listening. Thanks for calling. That's a great one. Well, hey, one thing I want to mention, this segment is brought to you by Western Construction Systems. More rain is coming. If you've got a leaky basement issues, call Western Construction Systems for a free and reasonable estimate. The integrity of your foundation is their specialty, guaranteed, for my friends over at Western Construction Systems. Those guys are busy, and I want to talk about this for just a second. There's a lot of people out there hiring now. Western Construction Systems has been hiring, looking for service technicians, in the Portland metro area down to Salem, as well as Rose City Electric Co. They're one of the sponsors here as well. They are all looking for good people. I know they're looking for licensed electricians as well, journeyman electricians over there at Rose City Electric. So those guys are looking for some help. So as we've been battling in the Northwest and across the country, there is a shortage of the trades out there, which is a huge problem. And I know if you're in the trades out there, you have got a pretty good selection of job sources out there. It's pretty easy to find a good employer these days. So those guys are hiring, and something to take a look at. 877-733-1011. This show is going to end up running out at the end of the hour, and so I would love to get those calls at 877-733-1011, so we don't have to cut you off at the end of the show. So yeah, that rock wool stuff, man, if you can get some savings on that and put something in there that's going to help resist water, fire, all those other things, it is a fun, neat product. Well, one of the other things I thought was fun out there, too, was outdoor kitchens. We had a blast. I'm going to post up some stuff from some outdoor kitchens out there. Some of that I'm going to talk about next segment, because I tell you what, outdoor kitchens were hot. And I had given a presentation on outdoor kitchens down there, and we were talking about why can't people design outdoor kitchens to actually function like kitchens instead of putting big concrete boxes out there. We're going to talk about that later, though, because I'm going to run out here to Mario. Welcome to Around the House. Mario, are we there?
Hello.
Hey, welcome to Around the House, man. What can I help you with?
Thank you. Hey, love the program. We live in a house that was built in the 1920s.
Okay.
We've remodeled the kitchen and the upstairs bathroom. The only thing that we did not mess with was the plumbing in the walls going upstairs, and we put some PEX piping in the downstairs. Anyway, we have a laundry room that when we run the washing machine, when it is filling up, we have water coming out of the head of the shower downstairs until the machine fills up. And then it stops at the shower head also. And the bathroom is 2 rooms away from the laundry room.
Wow, so you got a leak going on someplace in there.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange. So let me understand this. We have to go out to break here in a minute, but so when when the washing machine is running, you have water coming out of around the area around the shower head?
Coming out of the shower head itself.
Is that a tub shower situation or is it just a shower only?
No. Nope, shower only.
Seems like you might have a leak in the shower valve, that the pressure is changing and it's letting a little bit through the shower valve itself. I would probably put a repair kit in that shower valve first and start there.
Okay, because, it's been fine. And then for almost the last 3 months, it's been, as soon as we turn the power or the water on for the washing machine, it drains out. We have some residual come out of the shower head, and once the machine starts running, it quits dripping at the shower head.
Yeah, it might be that it's just changing the pressure on that line. It also kind of creates a little vacuum up there. So it could be that it's just shaking it out of there, but I'm going to guess and say that that's maybe just a shower valve that's leaking a little bit, and with the pressure change in that line, that when that opens up, that it's letting a little water on there to let it fill up that shower head line and drip out.
Okay, so the shower that leaks is behind some tile. So the on-off handle is just one handle, so I should be able to take that cover off and expose that valve?
Yes, turn the water off to the house, because otherwise you're going to have a bath and running water, but turn that water off, and yeah, you should be able to put a repair kit in that, and then at least you'll have that probably resolved. And if it's leaking around there, that would be where that would be. Otherwise, it just could be that, the shaking of the wash machine could be enough just to drip a little bit out of there. But if it's dripping more than a few drops of what was in that line, and that's going to be that internal parts of the shower valve.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck on that one out there. That's a good one. Well, let's, I'm going to jump in here real quick to Dale in Roseburg. I don't think I've got time, but let's start this one and we're going to tease it. Dale, welcome to Around the House.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Got a little situation here. My daughter bought a house in Roseburg, and she wanted me to install a security light, so I had to crawl through the attic, and you can kind of imagine me being 57 and over 300 pounds. I'm putting the knee pads on, the gloves, and so forth, because I figured I'm crawling across roof joists.
Hey, Dale, I'm going to put you on hold for just a second. I'm coming up to a hard break here. Sit tight. We're going to continue this story just as soon as I get back here. Just as soon as we get back, we'll be talking to Dale here in Roseburg, because he's got a great story just as soon as Around the House returns.
Last night I said I was afraid to let go.
Welcome back to Around the House with Eric G. Got a little Jade playing right there. Love that kid, 17 years old, still in high school and coming out with albums. Not too many times you see that. Well, this segment of Around the House is brought to you by Adair Homes, building quality custom homes throughout the Pacific Northwest for nearly 50 years. Find a design center near you at adairhomes.com, ADAIR homes.com. Well, hey, let's run back out to Dale in Roseburg. Thank you so much for hanging through the break. Let's talk about your attic insulation you were talking about.
Yes, sir. As I'm making my way through the attic, I'm pushing the insulation ready to start, going across the ceiling joist.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm pushing the loose insulation, I go past an attic vent. So what's happened is they've built a house out around the old house.
Okay.
So I'm literally crawling across the roof of the old house.
Gotcha.
So my question is, do I insulate the old attic, or should I just insulate the new attic?
I'd probably continue to insulate the old attic, but what can happen is you can run into some moisture issues depending on what you've got going on there, because what happens is if you've got two vapor barriers in there, moisture can get trapped in between those two vapor barriers. And so that's where your problem might be, is if you've got a vapor barrier from the old attic into the new attic and there's a couple vapor barriers going on, that could be a moisture problem that could create some mold or mildew and things like that.
Okay, so I took off the old roof vent because there's no harm in doing that.
Sure.
And it has a few inches of blown-in insulation already. So when you say vapor buried, I'm not thinking there's one there. It's just the insulation's loose and blown in.
Okay, well then you're fine then. I wouldn't worry so much about it. I would just continue to go on top of that, and then just make sure that you've got good ventilation up there in that attic space up there, because good ventilation is going to keep you from having multitude of problems up there. It's going to save you on your energy bills, as well as get that hot or cold air out of there.
Okay, so just to recap, I should take off the old vents and fill the old attic full of insulation. Is that right?
I think you'd be fine with that. How much space is there between those two spots? You've got that old attic space down underneath there. Is that 6 or 8 inches? Is it just like a stud bay, or is it actually a big space down there?
They're probably at least 18 inches at the peak, and then it tapers down.
I would just continue. I probably wouldn't even mess with that down there. I would just continue up in your new attic space up top. I would add on top of that up there where you've got current insulation now, and probably not mess with that lower bay of insulation.
Okay, one other quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Now, on the ventilation, I'm going to put an attic fan in for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be concerned? And there's vents on each peak. So I'll have an attic fan on one end and then ventilated from the other side. Should I be concerned about any ventilation coming up from the eaves?
You need to have some up in there, yes. I would have that. You could take a look. There's a lot of good calculators online from attic vent companies that will tell you what you need online. But, you want to have – I like to have eve ventilation coming up through there, so that way you can get – good airflow, not just cross, but you want to get it from up underneath there as well. That way, you'll have less problems if we have an ice storm with ice damming or anything like that. You want to get as much ventilation up those eaves as you can.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for the information and enjoy your show.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you calling. Love it. Hey, let's run out to Johnny in Vancouver, who has been patiently waiting. Welcome to Around the House.
Hey, how's it going there? Gee, love the show. Listen every Saturday.
Thanks, brother. What can I help you with today?
Okay, well, basically, in the kitchen, there's a daisy string of outlets that are all connected to one GFCI plug. We have added no other appliances, no other countertop gadgets, no nothing.
Okay.
All of a sudden, the GFCI is starting to trip.
Yep, that happens.
So my question to you is, do I need to change out the GFCI? Do they go bad?
Yes. GFCI outlets typically have a lifespan on average of about 10 years. And then they go bad and you need to replace them out. You'd be surprised.
I can do that myself.
Yeah, those are pretty DIY projects. Turn the power off. Don't get too crazy with it. But
no worries.
Yeah, I'd throw a new one in there, and I bet you that'll solve your problem. Because, they start tripping, and as soon as you blink, those things click out, and then you got a big problem.
Yeah, it was just running the coffee maker, which, doesn't take hardly any juice, and we've been running it for quite a while actually with the toaster, the coffee maker, and a couple other appliances. And now it never tripped. Yep. And now just running the coffee maker, and it'll pop.
That's an emergency when it's taking your coffee out, man. I feel bad for you there.
That's right. I mean, that's the life juice.
Absolutely.
In the morning.
Yeah, if I'm not getting my coffee, we get a bad day started right there. So
that's right.
Cool, man. That should be an easy one for you. You should be able to knock that out pretty quickly and be good to go.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for calling. Let's run out here to Robert in Vancouver. Welcome to Around the House.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
So my question, I was looking for a good HVAC company to come out to my house. I was hoping you could recommend someone. I live in Clark County, Vancouver.
Yeah, I work a lot. The people I work with are Pyramid Heating and Cooling. That's the people that I've always trusted. And I believe they work over in Washington as well. So Pyramid Heating and Cooling is my go-to people for doing all my heating and air conditioning stuff.
All right, they must be in Oregon, but you do think they come into Vancouver?
I believe they do. I could be wrong. You might check on their website. I don't have my computer up in front of me here, but I believe that they do. And if not, I would call them anyway. I'm sure they've got if they didn't, they're going to have somebody to refer you to that's going to be awesome.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, I appreciate that a lot.
That's who I send my family to, man. They're good people over there.
All right, well, thank you for the info.
All right, thanks, Robert. Thanks for listening to Around the House.
No problem.
Man, we had a lot of calls right there. Love it. Well, as I'm coughing and going through this cold thing like everybody else out there. Thank you to this show is brought to you by Halls. No. I think we've all been fighting this cold out there. Everybody here in the studio, I think just about everybody. I think we've got one person in here that I think is maybe surviving without it, but Dean and I are really trying to survive it here, if you know what I mean. Well, one of the things, too, that I was talking a little bit about this, there are a ton of things out there that are getting into outdoor cooking. And before those calls came in, when I was starting to touch on it, outdoor cooking is really getting to be something that you're seeing expand out. I saw a brand of outdoor cooking that had what they called stadium lighting on the inside of it. So it had like 4 or 5 LED lights when you lifted the hood up on this grill. And it was incredible. You could sit there and even the dials on the grill for turning the gas on were backlit LEDs. And there are so many cool things out there. They're really starting to make outdoor cooking like it's an actually cooking appliance and not just your normal Weber, which quite frankly I do love. But they're really coming a long way with that stuff. And now they're getting into more outdoor refrigeration and outdoor storage. There was a company called Kalamazoo Outdoor Gourmet that, again, awesome stuff. They have cabinetry that's made to go outside. They've got a little rain gutter on the front of it, so if the rain comes down over the front of the cabinet and gets around it, it'll take it and put it up to the outside. They've got stainless steel drawers. You can actually store things outside, and they seal up, and you can actually store stuff outside, utensils, put in a dishwasher, things like that. And they make things that you can do that with and not have to mess with any of those storage solutions, and more importantly, carrying stuff in and out and back and forth through the kitchen. So that's gone a lot of different ways, and that's been a lot of fun seeing that kind of story of outdoor cooking just keep expanding and expanding and expanding. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up Around the House and talk about a couple more things just as soon as Around the House returns. We got a short time to get there because it is the last segment of Around the House with Eric G. You know, I hope that we've answered some of those questions and helped you get some of these projects under control. We've had some great calls today. If you think of something you need help with after the show gets over here, just drop a note to ath@kxl.com. And make sure you like the Facebook page, Around the House with Eric G., where I've got pictures and I've got some of these grills and everything else that I've posted up right now. There's a ton of stuff up there, and you can kind of see what my travels were this week. I'm going to post a lot more pictures up. Quite frankly, I just haven't had a chance to get those up just yet. But if you missed any of the show today and you want to hear what you missed, podcast's going to be available soon on our radio webpage, aroundthehouseonline.com, or check out iTunes for the free download. You can get it there as well. So I also just posted up here Baldwin Hardware. You know, when I was back on their Baldwin Design Council, which for any of you that just caught this, Baldwin Hardware, which is kind of a luxury line of hardware, I'm on their design council, so I'm one of 25 designers in the country that they picked to help drive their design style for the next couple of years. And it was a great honor to be part of this design council. Well, I got to see when I was back with them back in L.A. here in early November, I got to see this new line that, of course, I couldn't talk about on air because that's what those non-disclosure agreements are for, but they just finally actually put out this line, and it's called Hollywood Hills. Absolutely gorgeous line of hardware. Take a look at it. I just posted it up on the Facebook page, Around the House with Eric G. And I've got it up there, so you'll see that. You can click on and go through that. What's fun about it is that they worked with Erin V., who she is kind of one of the big designers to the stars. And it's funny, I've done a lot of interior design over the last 20-something years, but I realized that I was with a new level of interior designers, because I don't care if you're doing really nice projects here anywhere in the U.S., you get to talk about your projects. But when you get into that very high-end, upper-level celebrity stuff, most of those celebrities have you sign non-disclosure agreements because they don't want to talk about all the stuff they're putting in their home. So it's funny to be able to talk. You'll see people talk about, or hear people talk about, well, I put this in someone's house and it's really cool, but I can't talk anything about it. They can talk it in a very general term. And so it was an interesting conversation with that, where nobody could share who they were working with, but could vaguely share some of the projects they're working on. And it was kind of an interesting perspective from that point of view. But, we were talking about trends and colors and things like that. If you go to the Facebook page, you'll see that, where you'll see some of those, the brushed brass and some of these other newer finishes that are coming out. And we're going to see a lot more of that. And I think that's going to be the later trends. I still personally have a hard time designing with bright brass because, it's one of those things that I did so much of that in the 90s that I still just haven't fully embraced it, but I'm getting better at it. It's one of those tough things to work with, because I'm still, I think, a little shell-shocked from the 90s and doing some of that stuff. But, there's a lot of cool products like that. And, one of the things that was my biggest takeaway probably from the Kitchen and Bath show, it was great to see builders, remodelers, designers, everybody kind of helping out and working together throughout this show. There were so many great materials. There were things like little self-contained elevators that were, think of a 5-foot tube, in diameter, that you could put in the middle of your house to get somebody with a wheelchair up into the next floor that was self-contained. There were just a lot of things. And then I've got some video I'll put up later, but there was a guy in there that had a bomb shelter that you could build your house around, that you could dig this big, deep hole. And he was putting in a wine cave, man cave, bomb shelter, gun room. There's a ton of things you can do with that. But it had a 4x4 hatch door that's set there, and you literally just would open the door and you had this safe room or anything else. And that was kind of a cool idea that was all self-contained. So there's a lot of things, from technologies to apps to construction programs. It's just a big, big show. And it's going to be a fun year in 2018 to see kind of how these things get implemented, as well as technology, because there's a lot of energy-saving technology that's coming out that I think, just like that rock wool that we were talking about, that rock wool is one of those things that I think is going to save people and help people save lives. And I like it when we can put materials in our house, as well as electronics, with, all these different things that will really help us get there with technology that'll save lives. You can actually do some stuff with that, with apps, like the Ring doorbell that has the carbon monoxide detector, or there's some new products out there with smoke detectors and stuff that will actually go through and ring back into your Alexa and send off the Alexas. So technology is really going a long way as far as getting people to be safer and make things, just safer in your home. I'd love to see if we could save a ton of lives out there with new technology this next year. I'm so tired of seeing people who have passed away from not having smoke detectors, or kids falling out of windows. Let's see if this next year we can do that. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Our thanks to Mixmaster Dane Vodder for making the show sound great, and Donovan Sargent, who rocked the Communication Center. Most of all, though, we want to thank you for listening. Why don't you join us next week from noon to 2? Or once again, we talk about maintenance, repair, and designing for remodeling, and of course, renovation of your home. Until then, make sure you do what you love and love what you do. This is the Radio Northwest Network. I'm Eric G., and I've been listening to Around the House.
Around the House with Eric G. is produced by Alpha Media USA in association with Design by Eric G. LLC. All rights reserved. Copyright 2017. We will be back next week. If you missed part of the show, check out the podcast on AroundTheHouseOnline.com. Remember, measure with a micrometer, mark with chalk, and cut with an axe. Thanks for listening to Around the House.
We're all over the radio. We're hand in hand in stereo. All over the radio with you. Anywhere the wind blows. Anywhere the...
Hey, it's Eric G. from Around the House. Quick favor. If you're enjoying the show, the absolute best way you can support us is by leaving a quick review on your favorite podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. It literally takes 30 seconds, and here's why it matters so much to us. Those reviews help new listeners discover the podcast. Tell the algorithms we're worth recommending, and give us the feedback we need to bring you even better episodes. More of the topics you love, and guests that actually move the needle for you. That helps us help you. It's as simple as that. So if the show's been useful, funny, or just made your day a little better, pop over right now, drop a star rating, and a couple of sentences. We'll be genuinely grateful. Thanks for being a part of the Around the House crew, and let's keep that conversation going.